here about a half hour late. Look at this. I mean, that's so quick. But realistically, they pick it up, they go 2 feet each time. That's pretty quick. This whole time, I thought these were just kind of walk planks. These straighten out the walls, so they keep the whole walls true the whole time. And then you walk on them, right?
Yeah, then we walk on top.
They walk on top. That's amazing. That's amazing. Uh-oh. If this was a single mat, like this area right here, they can have this framed and rebarred in a day, no problem. He says this is because this is double mat, there's a lot of rebar, so we're actually waiting on another load of rebar to come in. They'll crane it in this morning, and that takes some time. From our J-hooks that are in here, they come in and connect and go all the way up the wall. So there'll be a whole nother lattice, just like this, on this second mat as well. Wow.
You're putting the floor on top, aren't you?
Yeah, yep.
That's why.
If you've ever looked at your concrete wall, you'll see this little tab sticking out, and usually you can break them off, whatever, later on. That's how these forms stay together. There's little pins that lock on that side, and then they'll put the forms on this side and lock it in, and then that holds them together. That's the way they don't separate from each other. I have set forms before where they haven't had those ties, like just kind of homemade stuff, whatever, small retaining walls, and you have to support it so much on the outside for it to not split. These little tabs make a big difference. These interlock everything, these little key tabs, and there's buckets full of them everywhere around here. Put one through the form so it ties the both together, and then shoot one down and it pinches it tight. And then it also locks into the form here so that they have their boards that straighten them out at the top. This goes through the keyway as well. So that's linked, and so is the connector on the back that goes through. And then there's the keyway up there that holds it all in place. And they are linked and locked, and they don't come apart. This has happened so abruptly this morning that I do not have my regular camera. I do not have my microphone. So hopefully this is picking everything up just fine. We've been working on our blueprints, and one of the questions they had was on one of the corners of the house. This back corner of the house, this is the front porch of the house. There's a bathroom, you see that. This wall stays at that taller height until it comes to here, and then it drops down on the side of the house, so the windows sit in there. Now when you do that, you have a couple options when it comes to putting windows on kind of below grade areas. You can put them in bucks, or what they're called, and then that's like a steel frame that's put into the concrete forms before they pour. So when they pour, you just have this isolated window. It's really, really common in basements. But on this one, I wanted it to be not a steel buck, because that kind of gives you a little bit of allowances with the framing. And that way we can frame that house all the way down with regular framing, because concrete can be below grade, wood and timber framing cannot. So you got to count for that. So we know we're going to be excavating over there a little bit more as well. So they needed to know how far this wall goes over, and in our plans it shows it goes over 5 feet 6 inches. Then the wall has to drop down to a certain height. All of these we're working off of are the architecture sheets. That's why it says A11. This shows that smaller retaining wall. It's dropped down, and this is a shorter wall. The problem is there's not a dimension on there, so we had to use a scale model. Here is your scale model. It shows 0 to 5 feet, 10, 20, and so forth. Each of these marks is a foot. And to verify, I called my engineer. If you're building your own home and you're the general, this is what you do. You look at those prints, you ask questions, and then you answer them yourselves. You start digging into it, and you got to be confident with those decisions, which I think I am. Going off of what I saw, what I measured, clarifying with my engineer, that's what he got, and he's going to actually do another one while I'm kind of waiting. We came up with some dimensions. This is the front of the house, and you need that retaining wall to stay that high. That kind of works like what we call a dead man, and it kind of holds that wall from tipping back. If not, you just have a wall that could be a little bit vulnerable. So this helps the structure, but we didn't need it to continue on through the whole length of this portion of the house. So our print showed us 5'6", which is that orange mark. We're 2 inches past this form. So to make it easy, we're gonna bring it back to 5'4". It doesn't structurally change anything. It's not a big deal. And then we drop it down to what dimension we discovered and measured. It's 38 inches. So now this wall will be 38 inches high all the way back. So we stay below the frost line out here where it's a walkout. You have to add 30 inches to it. So 38 plus 30 is, class? 68 inches tall here, and that'll give us that retaining wall all the way back. Measured and marked on the ground where to make his bends for certain spots in the house so that the lateral lines make and follow the pattern of the wall. All of the forms so that they will release from the concrete. Because let's face it, concrete is the best glue out there. They have to spray diesel fuel on it. And what I've noticed, they're laid out and then they're sprayed on the ground and lets it just kind of drizzle the residual there, and then they're put up into place. Foundation walls are halfway up. They've done the entire perimeter of everything. Now they're going to start latticing everything, and then we run the other side. So this has been a huge day at the property. We've gotten a lot done, and by we, I mean they have gotten a lot done, and they've worked really, really hard today. And I'm glad I was here though, because I was able to confirm a few things for them, a few questions that we had from the engineer, a few questions that they had from the prints, and they want to verify. So I was able to be here and change them if we needed to on a few things we did. So it's totally worth being here on site. So you guys, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And if you want to see the rest of this project continue on, hit that notification bell. And until then, see you next time.